How we doing? How we doing? It's good to see you, or good to be seen, or something like that. Who knows? Anyway, the book, it's out. It's available for your reading pleasure, and it looks like this. Like literally, it's a book. It's an actual book, people. It's a real book, and it's done and printed and online and ready for the people to go get the thing. And it's pretty cool. Reasonably short. Again, this is the last page has a number on it, and that number is 122. And that's the about the author section. So who reads that stuff? It's kind of fun though. The closing thoughts are on page 119. I can tell you this, if you were to sit down and read it from cover to cover, it might take you 90 minutes, maybe, but you probably shouldn't read it that way because there's a lot of activities in this book. And I'm going to show you the workbook, right? The things that you actually get to go through, the thinking, the deep, deep thinking and activities that you'll walk through during this. Because ultimately, it's about one thing: finding harmonies in the food you give. Because, right, this what's important right now. I'm tired almost. Is tired the right word? Maybe over it. I'm over the idea of hearing people say, I'm all out of F's to give, right? I listen, you've got plenty of them. You're just passing them out all pell mell and willy nilly. You have to get intentional about where you spend those. Otherwise, you feel completely depleted. So, this book, this mindset manual, is there to help you figure out what matters most to you. And ultimately, wouldn't that be kind of cool? Because what I'm really trying to do, and what Alex Borzo and I tried to do with this book, was get you really clear on that, the things that matter. Like, here's what I want. If I could sum it up in one word, it's calm. I want people to have a sense of calm in their day because we get too riled up over everything. And it's intentional, right? They want us riled up. They want us at each other's throats. They want us looking at each other sideways. And it's because if we're busy doing that, then we're not paying attention to what the heck's actually going on, right? So it's like this shroud of not necessarily mystery, but this shroud of uh, deniability, I guess, because if we're not paying attention to what's going on, then we're not necessarily bothered by it. And the more we can interact and be mean to each other, the better off it is. So, from my perspective, I stopped watching mainstream media, stopped watching the news long before it was called mainstream media, right? It was 2007. I figured out that this was literal programming, and not programming like computer programming, and not programming like a series of programs on the television, but like mind control kind of programming. And it's nuts when you actually take a deep dive into the fact that, like, there are 10,000 different media companies owned by six different groups. And if you start looking at the local news across the board, they're all reporting on the same stories with the same inflection. It's not right, people. It's not right. And we don't live in a world that has 24 hours worth of news every single day, right? We might get 24 hours worth of actual news over the course of a week. I'll give it that, but not 24 hours all day, every day. And as a result, we get kind of bent out of shape. We get testy. We have higher anxiety. We have higher stress levels. We have all these things that we're supposed to be paying attention to. And we're all overwhelmed and overburdened because A couple of things. A, we say yes too much and yes to things that aren't really for us to say yes to, because our yeses really need to be a hell yeah. Otherwise, they need to be a no. And that's taken straight out of the book. Or they don't even have to be a no. Maybe they can just be a not now. One of the sections of the book was originally called 54 Shades of Gray. And I changed it to It's Not All Black and White because evidently 50 Shades of Gray was, I want people thinking I was writing a sex novel. I would rather just have the F word on the cover. Why would I want a sex novel? That's ridiculous. But that 54 Shades of Gray, that it's not all black and white, is about the decision process that we go through, right? We always think about things really binary. It's yes or no. Well, it's not. It could be yes, it could be no, it could be maybe, it could be later, it could be not right now, it could be 3 months from now, it could be something that I don't even want to think about, but I will eventually. There's all these different areas in between with every decision point we make. But if we only focus on the yes or the no, it really limits us. It really limits us. Um, Another section in the book that I really, really enjoy is this idea of 1% better every single day, right? How do I compete with only one person, right? Not the rest of the world, not my competition, not others that are doing similar to what I do. The only person I want us to be in competition with is the person we were yesterday. Just get better than we were. Right. So we talk a little bit about that. We talk a lot about the non negotiables in our life, the things that are super duper important to us that we'd walk through fire to get to, in understanding what those are. Because when we know what really matters to us, we have a much easier time of figuring out what to say yes to and what to say no to. Another section that aligns with that is the section on It's Always My Pleasure. That's a line I got from my friend Phil Klein, who says that often. It's always my pleasure. And if you're doing things that are always your pleasure, how much better is your life, right? And if it's not going to be your pleasure, then don't do it. Pretty amazing. Now, I get that there are things that we have to do for work, for our jobs, for our business that might not always be our pleasure. And that's okay, right? We have to make some allowances there. But there's also ways that we can delegate some of those things that aren't our pleasure that we know need to get done, that we don't have to be the responsible party for. So that's an important lesson too. I'm going to do a little screen share and I'm going to walk us over to. Wow, there's a lot of windows open, people. I'm going to walk us over to the actual workbook itself. Hey, look at that. There it goes. And I'm going to share this with you. And let's take a look at what's in here. So, this is the Finding Harmony workbook. And, before I go any farther, you can find all of this at trybean.com/ finding harmony book. Trybean.com finding or / finding harmony book. I should probably type that somewhere and I'll drop it in the comments a little later. But this workbook is available on that page. And quite frankly, it's available for you right now. If you wanted to just say, skip it, I don't need to read the book, I just want to do the workbook, boom, here it is for you. Our gift to you. Isn't that sweet of us? Alex is very nice. And Alex did the workbook, right? Alex did the design. She did the design on the front cover of the book. And she did this design. And then she did this whole workbook. And the workbook's the accompaniment to the book. So it follows, right? So here's a bunch of me writing stuff. Here's things that you can do to put that writing into action, right? So you're actually taking the deeper dive. I love this idea, right? We all have things to do that seem overwhelming, that seem time consuming, that seem like major projects. Well, if you break those projects down into smaller bite-sized pieces and get just a little bit of it done every single day, doesn't seem as much work, right? You can actually knock it out. And this is a fillable PDF, so you can write right in it. It's an interesting way. We talk about personality types. I use the phrase the four elements, right? I've been using fire, water, air, and earth to describe personality types, as well as the energy we need to have to get things started, keep things going, make things happen. So that section's in here. And we relate it to DISC and Myers-Briggs a little bit. So here's a fun little way to quick little test to figure out where you might fall on the DISC profile. Here's the find your non-negotiables. I like this because it's got that little bracket feel to it. So it's kind of like doing the final four. Here's a way to help you identify when you're gonna get into a little bit of an anxiety attack, when that stress is gonna become overwhelming. So trying to track that so you have an idea what kind of ride you're going on. This one's all about who am I bringing into my circle. There's a section in the book called Find Your Vibe and Your Tribe. And so it really takes a look at who you're being and what you're attracting as a result of who you are, right? Because, there's a lot of this in life that is energy, right? All of it is energy. The energy we put out is the energy we get back. So it's a matter of what you get. And so here you go. What did you attract? Along those same lines, find your vibe, find your tribe. This is fun, kind of a make a meme little test. It's a great tool to be able to have an image that reminds you of how you feel when you're happy. I gave a talk a few years ago at TED Talk about cast a positive stone, and it was all about creating that ripple effect. So take a little deep dive into what you're doing and how that's impacting the world. This piece about how you see yourself, plotting your self-worth, your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and where you show up here. Fun fact, I'm ridiculously high self-confidence. I'm ridiculously high self-esteem. And historically, I've been ridiculously low on self-worth. I'm fixing it though, people. It's going away. It's not an issue. I know you're like, what? You don't have self-worth? I don't. Sucks. Do you really know what you can do? This is kind of neat. This is really stemmed from working with my kid, and you may know this from being a parent yourself. Kids are really good at trying something new, but sometimes if they're not decent at it immediately, they stop trying, they give up. And that's an annoying thing. And so we have to look at, I know we put some effort in. Did we put all the effort in? Charlie Wahlberg and I always talk about the idea of fire in the belly, right? What's the thing that gives you motivation, that makes you want to kick the sheets off the bed every morning? So how do you find your fire? Not a coincidence that there's a flame on the cover of the book. We took that information and we put it into a fun little Mad Libs. You remember Mad Libs? Yeah. So there's a little Mad Lib exercise in here. I like this, the happiness meter, right? Where do you rank yourself in happiness? So pretty cool. This is about managing stress. More importantly, it's not just managing it, but it's using stress to actually get you to get things done, because stress can be crippling or it can be an incredible motivator when used properly. Nothing more powerful in the world than gratitude. So, hey, let's get started on our own little gratitude journal. And then I'm a big fan of making sure that my future self says thank you to my younger self. But the only way that happens is if my younger self, or my today self, right now self, does things that my future self is going to appreciate. So that's the workbook. Again, it is available for your viewing pleasure, just right there. I wonder, do I have the opportunity to drop a link somewhere in here? I would like to say yes, but I don't know that I do. So I guess I won't. It'd be cool if I could just drop some text right here. What does this caption button do? Lower third. Let's just add a lower third caption and see what happens if I type this. Look at you guys watching me learn how to do stuff as I'm actually doing stuff. Isn't that fun? Um, Book, bam, add. So it's added, and is it showing up anywhere? That we don't know. So show. All right. So, oh, look at that. Terry Bean knows how to do stuff. And let's be honest, Terry Bean figures out how to do stuff. He clearly had no idea how to do that 30 seconds before. So, I wish I would have started with this, but we get there. We get there. So that's it, man. Trybean.com, finding hyphen harmony hyphen book. You can get all the information. You can see the details. I've got some great comments on the book already, some people that have read it. There is an ebook version for those of you who are Kindle friendly, but this book is now shipping. It's out, and I don't know that I could be more excited about it. I mean, I could be, but I'm not. Not going to be any more excited about it. So there it is. That's my little book review for today. And pretty soon we'll get back to your regularly scheduled Trybean Tuesday on the 10 spot. And we'll get back to talking about other things. But for right now, dude, the book's the hottest thing on the planet. Look, it's so hot. It's got fire on the cover. That's hot, hot, hot. So thank you for watching. Thank you for paying attention. To those of you who have purchased the book, thank you, thank you, thank you. Very excited about that. And if you don't have it yet, it might be the perfect resource for you or someone you know. You might enjoy it too. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful day. Be well.